We're here at Millard South with head coach Andy Means. Coach, your team last year, we knew this going in. It was going to be a young group of guys, but you were really high on what they were doing at the lower levels. And I think you surprised a lot of people. I mean, just talk about the year you guys had and what really jumped out with the kids that you had a year ago.
Well, we had some young kids that stepped up and played pretty well. We didn't have a real large senior group, and so the juniors and some of the sophomores had to step up and play. And they did a really good job, and they kept getting better as the season went on.
And then you look at your lines. It's kind of been a nice luxury to have someone like Cole Oberschmeyer to really anchor down those lines for you. I think you told me this before. You've never had a kid that young play as much as he has. How has Cole really grown and developed over these last couple of years?
Well, I think as a freshman he was just trying to survive. He's the only freshman that started for us, and then as a sophomore he got better, but he was more inconsistent. Last year, he was very consistent, started to kind of assert himself a little bit more and draw more double teams and things like that. I'm sure he'll get a lot of double teams this year as well.
I really think it was my offensive line and my technique. Since freshman year, I always thought that I was defensive minded and always really worked on defense, but I think for this past year that offensive line was really what stood out the most and what I gained the most experience in.
And you kind of look at the attention. I mean, I know a number of teams have contacted you, have been through the building. What's the interest looking like right now for someone like him?
South Dakota's already offered him some Division I teams. Iowa and Nebraska and some of those places are looking at him. He's probably be an offensive lineman. That's how they project him. He's 6'3.5". He'll be probably 6'4" by the time he's done growing.
Guard center type.
Probably a guard center type, yeah. He'd probably be very good at that.
Okay, so for like the last year, I've been to Nebraska, I've been to Iowa State, Kansas State, South Dakota, and then coming up, I'm going to North Dakota State in March for a junior day. But the only junior days I've gone to so far are Nebraska and South Dakota State. I mean, I've only really been talking to a lot of South Dakota State and North Dakota State right now. South Dakota State, a little less, a lot of North Dakota State right now. Talked to North Dakota. Yeah, I mean, that's mainly who I've been talking to a lot lately.
South Dakota's offered you?
Yes, yes, South Dakota has offered me. And I've been talking, yes, I've been talking to them too, but new North Dakota State and South Dakota State.
And then, TJ Urban, is someone that you're going to really look at to play a huge role as your quarterback. And he had a great year a year ago. What did you like about what TJ did for you guys last year?
Well, he matured really fast. We weren't real sure how he'd handle it from freshman football to varsity football. That's a pretty big jump. But he kept getting better and better each week. Threw the ball really well. Had 1,200 yards rushing, 800 passing, and so. Between he and Isaiah Harris, I mean, it was kind of a pick your poison type of an offense as far as the running game went.
I really liked that. I went out there and competed against some really good teams, and also having people going with me like on my team and just pushing me to the best I could be.
How driven is a guy like TJ? Because I've dealt with him a little bit in his family, and it seems to become a quarterback. He's really putting a lot of work in to try to do the next step to maybe get some attention.
Yeah, he's trying to do that. He's going to camps and he's taken to some instructional things that we're doing with him and so forth, and he just soaks it up. He just wants to learn and he wants to get better. And like I said, the thing that pleased us the most was he continually got better as the season went on.
Yeah, when you kind of look ahead now, with 2 more years to go, how much growth do you expect to make in these next 2 years?
I think I've got a lot of growth because, like, right now I'm still 15. My mom still takes me places, but that's all right. And I got a lot of, like, arm strength to build off of and just keep going from there.
And then you've got a number of other guys. You mentioned Isaiah Harris as well. I mean, what has he brought for you guys? 4'5" kid, 34-inch vertical.
Speed.
I mean, you've seen the speedsters in the metro. There's as many speedsters right now and playmakers in the city as we've seen in a while. How do you compare him to some of the top guys you've seen?
He's as fast as they are. I know Northern Iowa is very, very interested in him. North Dakota State's very interested in him. The one thing that they see on film that they tell me that they like is when he gets through line of scrimmage, he keeps accelerating. And you watch him on film, and defensive players look like they have an angle on him, and he keeps running away from him. He doesn't reach his top end speed that quick, and yet he's not a fast guy playing football, which there are some teams that have fast guys playing football, but they're not football players. He's a football player who's fast. And 3 years ago when we were 1-8, that was our biggest deficiency, is we just didn't have speed.
We want to get back right away. I mean, the week after it ended, that Monday we turned in our pads. The following Monday there was 60 of us right back in the weight room because we didn't want to let it go. We wanted to be back in. We wanted to be where we were supposed to be. But yeah.
They all have this desire to win. They've gotten used to winning from the time they were at youth league levels and that. They've played with each other. They like each other. They get along with each other. And it's kind of a community of purpose that they have. And they want to win it. They want to, they're pretty driven in the weight room and so forth. And they encourage each other. They get on each other when they have to. And so that's the thing that I've noticed. It's a pretty cohesive group. And when you have that as a coach, you really like that because, the more cohesive the team is, the better you're going to be.